There's a new TD Black. 2000S, 2500S, they're the shallow spools. 2500D, which is a deeper spool. 3000D and a 4000D C. I actually don't know what the C stands for. I'll start with the smallest and we'll make our way up. Spool protector. I haven't had a TD Black for many, many years, and just quickly, I'll cut in my history with this reel. I got my best ever queenfish back in the day when I went on a trip to Oman in the Middle East. 20-pound line, 20-pound leader. It was an intense fight, and I think it was the only time in my life I've ever caught a fish and there was people cheering when I landed it, because the whole crew was there. There was like 10 of us. Big cheer went up. But that was a big queenie, like extra large queenie. I've never seen one that big in Australia. I know they get that big, but it was pretty special to go to Oman and actually get my PB queenfish. Not the species I was after, but I definitely took it and was happy. This looks sick. I'll just talk a little bit about what the boys have told me has changed. You can read right there. That is the big change. Air drive. Just like the Certate in the last unboxing I did, this bad boy now has air drive as well. It's very nice, light, fast to start, fast to stop reel. Monocoqued as well, so it's got that bigger gear, which basically just means more durability, more power. All this technology is now being put into the economical reels, not just the Saltigas and Certates and the big dogs. It's filtering down into all of the range, which is amazing to see. More anglers are going to get to enjoy and experience the new technology of the higher end reels. PE 0.6, which is usually around 6 or 8 pound line, it'll take 150 meters. So you can either buy a smaller spool of braid for cheaper, or you can buy a big 300 meter like this. Perfect example, that's 300 meters of PE 0.6, 8 pound line, which would spool this twice. For the price of one spool of braid, you get two spool ups of line just because it's a shallow spool, which I think is very handy. For a lot of anglers that are doing it on the cheap, having a shallower spool can be very helpful, especially if you're not targeting monster fish that are going to take huge runs. If you're just on your bread and butter species, brim, whiting, flatties. Let's have a quick listen to the drag. Quite nice. So that's the 2000S. Let's crack into the 2500S. And we'll have them all together in the end and have a little comparison. 2500S. Oh wow. I just noticed something. The handle on these is defaulted to the right. I didn't have to flip the thing and put the rubber over. Are these an Australian only model? They might be, because that is usually on the left-hand side. That's making me think this is an Aussie only model, the TD Blacks. Comment if you're somewhere else in the world and you get TD Blacks in your country. I'm actually thinking this is an Aussie only, but prove me wrong. Similar. Slightly louder on the bigger one, I think. So this is another S, which is shallow. I'm pretty sure that's what the S stands for. The S's are always the shallow spools. This one holds P 0.6, 200 meters. So this smaller one held 150 meters of P 0.6, and this one holds 200 meters of P 0.6. I've always liked the look of the TD Blacks. Timeless, stylish reel. My opinion, of course. You might like bright yellow or something else. But black's pretty universally steezy. Next reel, 2500D. I think the D stands for the deeper spool. Loving that they're pre-decided that it's going to be right-handed for the Aussies. Going to compare the 2500 S and the 2500D. Interesting. The 2500D is a tingier noise and the shallow spool's deeper. I actually think I like the tingier 2500D. Not that people are going to choose a reel just based off the drag sound, but if you're curious, it's an interesting comparison for me anyway. The shape of the spool is obviously affecting the drag sound too. As far as I can tell, they are identical in size, just a deeper spool. If you want any extra info, check the description of the film and you'll get a link to the TD Black page that'll give you all the specs and all the details explained in a much more intellectual fashion than I am able to. I actually know next to nothing about the technology behind reels. I just wind reel, and if reel feel good and catch fish, Briggsy happy. So that's basically the depth of my technical analysis of reels. If they look sick, sound sick, don't break and catch fish, I'm stoked. We're up to the bigger sizes now, 3000D and 4000DC. Next one, 3000D. It's getting a bit tougher, mate. A little bit bigger. 3000. Still extremely light. Such a light reel. Ooh. 2500D versus 3000D. Oh. I think the sound's getting better as we get bigger, to be honest, on these ones. I may have cooked it on the last reel and not given line capacity, so... so I cooked it on the last one, didn't give you the line cap. The 2500D holds 300 meters of PE 1.2, which it depends on your braid, but I think that would probably be around 15-pound line. And now 3000D, in comparison, holds 300 meters of PE 1.5. So that's more like 20-pound. Wonder how much drag these bad boys have. Looking at this, I've just realized that the weight of each reel, the gear ratio, the drag is listed on every single one. So once I unbox this last one, we'll go through each reel and compare. We've already done line capacity on each one, but we'll go through and compare those other things. Just as a sneak peek, the 3000D max drag 10 kilos. You could stop a pretty solid fish with 10 kilo drag. 4000D-C. If someone would like to explain to me what the C means, that would be amazing. Not sure what the C means. If someone could explain that to me, that'd be sick, and I will know. D, I'm assuming is deep. S, I'm assuming is shallow. C, cool. 4000D-C. Don't lose these. Although, to be honest, lately, every single reel I've spooled up hasn't needed this. Daiwa's gotten onto the spacing. Every reel I've spooled lately has been automatically correct off the bat. Biggest of the reels that they sent me, I don't know if I've got the full range here. I'll check at the end on the website if I do. But that is a pretty nice spread of light tackle reels. Ooh. 300 meters of PE2, which depending on your braid might break it more like 30 pound. Let's lay them all out, get a little size comparison, and then we'll get a specs comparison on each one. $2,000S, $2,500S, $2,500D, $3,000D, $4,000D. There's a little size comparison for you. They're released on the 20th, which is in just a few days. So be sure to go into a store, get your hands on one, have a feel. They're a classic reel, reimagined with air drive, monocoque body, and new styling. These little lines look sick. First, let's do gear ratios. The 2000S, 5.1 to 1 gear ratio. The 2500S is a 5.2 to 1 gear ratio. The 2500D, 5.2 to 1 gear ratio. 3000D is a 5.2 to 1 gear ratio. And the 4000D is a 5.2 to 1 gear ratio. So they all have the same gear ratio except for the 2000S, which is slightly less. 170 grams, 185 grams, 190 grams, 210 grams, 230 grams. So they're all about 15 to 20 grams of weight difference between them. The 2000S and the 2500S both have 5 kilos of drag. 2500D and the 3000D both have 10 kilos of drag. The 4000DC has 12 kilos of drag. PE 0.4 is 200 meters. PE 0.6 is 200 meters. PE 1.2 is 300 meters. PE 1.5 is 300 meters. PE 2 is 300 meters. I've got a little mic, which is currently attached to my neck, using a box to hang the mic. I'll cut this so you can go from one reels drag to the next reels drag. Most people don't care about this. For some reason, Briggsy cares. Ready? 2000S. My favorite is either the 3000 or the 4000. They all have a similar drag sound, and I think you'll be stoked with any of them. The level of drag coming out of Daiwa reels lately has been much more impressive than previous iterations. As always, if you're looking for new gear, I highly recommend, no matter what gear it is, going into a tackle shop, try a few different models that you think are cool. No matter the brand, no matter the price range, it's always good to get a hands-on feel of a reel. Listening to them, spinning them, bending them if it's a rod, getting a hands-on feel. I'm stoked to have 5 new reels in my arsenal. You'll be seeing a lot more of these bad boys. The kids will be spinning with them. I'll be spinning with them. Air drive, monocoque body, lighter, stronger, more durable, more stylish, new look to them. The TD Blacks always look pretty cool to me, but I think this is the nicest iteration. The boys are killing it lately with the reel designs, so very stoked. And the handle's on the right hand side by default. That is a nice finishing touch for me. Very stoked, boys. Thank you. See you all in the next film.